Good morning and welcome to Masterclass Cook Along. I'm in the kitchen and we are carrying on with Show Us Your Buns. Now I've got an amazing bun recipe for you today. I'm going to show you how to make beautiful ciabatta buns, and then I'm going to show you exactly what to put in that bun. Porchetta, Italian Tuscan roast pork with Salsa Verde. An amazing combination, absolutely beautiful. But it all starts with a good bun recipe. Now, on Wednesday, I asked you to show us your buns. We've had loads of entries. We've had people adding in their amazing recipes on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter, using the hashtag show us your buns. The winner is going to win an amazing Masterclass 5-piece smart ceramic bakeware set. So make sure you get your entry in. Hashtag show us your buns. Now, I've got 500 grams of strong white bread flour, okay? Really important that you use strong bread flour. And then I am going to add in 7 grams of yeast, okay? And then 10 grams of salt. Very quickly, get your hand in and blend it. So we dilute the salt and the yeast, because you don't want salt and yeast to really get into contact with each other. So you blend it, which dilutes it, and then they're not in direct contact with each other. Okay, so I'm going to make a well in the middle. Okay, I'm going to add a splash of extra virgin olive oil. And then I've got my room temperature water. I'm going to add 2/3 of this. I'm going to hang on to that bit because, as I've said to you before, sometimes if it's a really warm day, your flour will absorb more water because it's swollen up. On cold days, it contracts and retracts and absorbs less. So you need to sort of look for the texture that I'm going to show you, not a precise measurement. But in the recipe, there's a guide on the amount of water you generally need, but you have to use your own judgment. Straight away I can see I'm going to need all that water today. I may even need a little bit more. So, just going to work it round. Yeah, I'm going to need a touch more water, so I'll just grab that. Okay, little splash, little bit at a time is always the way to go. Don't add it all and then you end up with porridge. We're trying to make a bread dough. It wants to be in a ball. So as you mix it, you want to, which camera shall I show this one to, Emily?
Camera 2 over here.
Camera 2, see that?
Yeah, perfect.
All right, just tip it out, boom. There we go. No flour, okay? I don't want you to add any flour at this point. Normally when people are bread baking, they're like, oh, it's sticky, I'm in a mess. Get in a mess, all right? Push the dough that way. Push it away from you. And what we're doing is hold it with one hand, push it away with the other, and we're developing the gluten. And the gluten is in the protein in the flour, you see. This is why you need strong bread flour. You could also use 00 pasta flour, which is really good for bread making actually. But you can't use plain flour, self-raising flour. You've got to have that nice high level of gluten that comes from bread flour. So just push it away, and what you'll find is it will start to become smoother and easier to work with, okay? And eventually your worktop will be clean, I promise. Okay, so we're just going to knead this for a little bit. Now if you have any questions on bread making, please do post them in the Facebook feed and I'll answer them. I'll be able to just make sure that if you've any questions, any problems, so many people talk to me about bread making and they're like really scared of it. And then the first time they make it, they just fall in love with it. It's a process that just, I don't know, I think you just kind of lose yourself in bread making. You know, you start kneading, you mix in, you prove it, you knock it back, next prove, and then you have this amazing smelling kitchen of fresh bread. It's just the best. Right, so you should be able to see my worktop is clean now. So it started, when I first scooped this dough out, it was really messy, it was like porridge. And if I show you now, if you look at this dough, look, stretchy, all right? That's what you're looking for, stretch. Okay, so that is enough for me now. So what we're gonna do is grab our mixing bowl I'm going to pour a little olive oil in the bottom, just a tablespoon. I'm going to pop the dough in here, and what we're going to do is we're going to put this in the fridge overnight. Okay, and that will mean it's at a really low temperature. It means it will prove slowly, the flavour will develop, and tomorrow morning we'll have the most amazing dough that we can just cut into portions, put on a baking tray and leave to prove. So this is going in the fridge. So this dough I made yesterday, it's sat in the fridge all night. It's really cold and it has just developed. It's got that wonderful bready smell to it, okay? This is perfect. So, a little bit of olive oil on your hands, okay? Like a teaspoon. Oiled up, okay? Good for the skin, this. And then, if I just show you, which one, Emily?
Camera 2 again.
Camera 2. I'm just going to work my hands around the edge. Yeah? I'm just going to push the dough down, like so. I want to try and get it out in one piece because I want all those random air pockets to stay in this dough, okay? So I'm just going to work.
Do you need to cover your bowl when you put it in the fridge?
Yeah, you can cover it. You can use cling film if you want, but there are so many different products out there now that help you remove cling film, single-use plastic from your kitchen. You could put a plate on top of it, to be honest. You can get silicone covers that are reusable and go in the dishwasher now, which are really good. So there's lots of different ways, but yeah, it's nicer to cover it because otherwise it might dry out and form a crust. So there is my dough, out in one piece, okay? Little bit of olive oil on the worktop.
If you don't have olive oil, is there another oil that you can use?
Yeah, you can use rapeseed oil or a vegetable oil if you want. Olive oil's got a great flavour for this. And I always have a big bottle of olive oil to hand. So what I'm trying to do is be really careful that I don't knock any of the air out on this, okay? I'm being very careful to just scoop it out, roll it in oil, and now we're just going to very carefully cut it into portions. So if I pop that there, is that alright, Emily?
Yeah.
I have to get permission on where I put things, don't I? And then I'm going to use a knife straight to my worktop, but I'm going to be very gentle. No weight on it. All I'm doing is just cutting the dough. So I'm just going to cut that one. Okay? And then I'm going to cut this into thirds. So I think I'm going to go that way. Pop that on there. We're making ciabatta rolls, or buns, should I say. So they're okay to be different shapes. So we'll cut those. And we'll cut that into there. Alright? Now I haven't rolled them into sort of traditional bread rolls because I want to keep the air pockets that are in there already. So that is pretty much our ciabatta buns, okay?
Just pull them towards a bit. So
Yeah. So, what we're going to do now is we're going to leave these for about 20 minutes. At room temperature. I want them to warm up. They've been in the fridge all night. They're cold. The dough is quite tight, but it's got lots of air pockets in it, which is vital for what we want to do with it. We're going to let them warm up for about 20 minutes, and then we're going to bake them about 180 to 190 degrees. They're going to take about 20 minutes. You want these to be really crusty and robust because they're going to hold not only your salsa verde, but that amazing juicy porchetta, which I'm going to show you how to make now. Right, so my porchetta is ready. Look at that. Now it smells amazing. The fennel, the garlic and the rosemary running through this belly pork is just the most incredible flavour. I'll always remember the first time I tried this. I was actually out in Tuscany, family holiday, and every market that you go to, you always find a porchetta van, and they just the biggest joints of pork, just roasted with wild fennel from the hedgerows, garlic, rosemary. It's just, once you've had this, you will never go back to roast pork with apple sauce, I promise you. Doesn't it smell amazing?
It does, it smells incredible.
Look, let's put this to one side. This wants to rest now for a good 20 minutes while your bread bakes, and we'll make the salsa verde, okay? Now salsa verde is basically Italian for green sauce. That's it. Nothing too spectacular. It's just a lovely combination of ingredients. So let's go through them. So we've got capers, we've got mustard. I'm using Dijon mustard, anchovies. All right, but don't worry, it's not going to be fishy. The anchovies are there for a real depth of flavour, okay? And then we've got fresh mint, parsley, garlic, and red wine vinegar. So let's get started. So, start with our garlic. So 1 clove of garlic should do the job. Have you had salsa verde before?
I've had it a few times, and it's so good, for, like fresh.
It's just good with everything.
Yeah.
It's like amazing. Jersey Royals are just in season now, and they're absolutely amazing with salsa verde. Really, really good. Fresh lamb, it's good with lamb. It's actually good with feta as well. I don't know if you've ever had it with feta. Oh, it's really good. So 1 clove of garlic. This sauce as well is more of a make it and eat it.
Yeah.
You want it fresh and vibrant and green. You don't want it sat in the cupboard for 2 or 3 weeks because it'll just oxidise. So I've got 2.5 salted anchovy fillets. I'm just going to slice these up.
I remember when you first made this here, and you told me there was anchovies in it, and I freaked, but you can't. It's just saltiness, isn't it?
It's a savouriness.
Yeah.
Now I've made it without, and it's okay. Make it with, it's amazing. Really, really good. So even if you're not a big fish eater or an anchovy eater, try it. Try it because it really does work, and it really adds that depth and that gusto and that kind of like oomph. Right. So is that all right there? I'll put it there.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So I've got a spoonful of Dijon mustard in there, and then we've got some capers. All right. So a good tablespoon of capers. I like capers. I'm going to put a few more in, and this just adds a nice sort of tang. They're basically a pickled bud from a tree. All right. A friend of mine showed me once that you can pickle dandelion buds before they go to flower. When they're a bud,
really?
You can pick dandelions and pickle them, and then you end up with capers.
Every day is a school day?
Every day is a school day. So, in with our chopped capers. This is starting to smell good. I'm starting to get excited now. Red wine vinegar, okay?
Is there an alternative to red wine vinegar?
You can use white wine vinegar. I wouldn't use balsamic, it's a little too heavy. You could use cider vinegar if you prefer. You could use lemon juice actually if you really wanted to.
Acidity.
Yeah, it's about balancing some flavours. So that's my red wine vinegar. Okay, I'm just going to mix those together. I'm going to add some extra virgin olive oil, and that just kind of, you want 2/3 more oil to the vinegar you've added, which is a basic guideline to getting sort of salad dressings working. This is almost like a salad dressing. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit of pepper, no salt because I've got the anchovies in there. Actually, I'll tell you what, I just had a thought. Salsa verde stirred through fresh pasta with crumbled feta would be an amazing way to use up any leftovers on this. Amazing. Right, so I've got some fresh mint, and then I've got some fresh parsley. Now, my greengrocer gave me curly parsley. I hate curly parsley with a passion. I want flat leaf parsley.
What do you not like about it?
I don't know, it just reminds me of 1985.
What a bad year.
Wasn't food. The 80s were not good for food. So, bundle it all together and with a sharp knife, push your knife down and through. Okay? Can you see that technique, Emily?
Yeah.
So it's not a chop up and down, it's a roll through. And when you have a nice sharp knife, it'll cut through the herbs and so it won't bruise them. And they don't go black and bitter, they stay fresh and vibrant, which is really important. The whole purpose of using herbs is that fresh, lively flavour, and it's the perfect counterbalance to this, which is rich and full of flavour and pretty gutsy. So in with our herbs. There we go. And then we're just going to give this a stir, bring everything together. You might find that you need to add a little bit more olive oil just to sort of make it saucy, if you like.
Oh, I can smell the fresh mint.
Oh, that's good. It's so good. I get really excited when I make salsa verde.
We make it more often now at home. It's a good.
And never buy salsa verde in a jar. It just won't be the same. It's so sort of. This is vibrant and fresh and full of flavour. Anything out of a jar is just all a bit claggy and rich, and there's no balance with it. So it's so easy to make. I mean, look at that. It's so easy. Actually going to do a little bit, I want it a bit looser. But that would stir through pasta beautifully, served with roast lamb, roast pork, or over new potatoes, warm Jersey Royals with this. Maybe some black Kalamata olives, crumbled feta. What would be nice actually is a block of feta baked in the oven. So it's like soft and gooey, and a big baguette and some of this. I'm away, I'm off. Right. So there is our salsa verde. We have our roast pork, and all we need now is our buns. Here we go, buns are ready. Lovely rustic, hot ciabatta buns. There we go. These are the perfect bun for my porchetta. Right, let's move these out of the way. Let's pop them there for 1 second. I need a carving knife. Okay. In fact, I need a carving fork as well. Right. Let's have a look at this pork. Now it is rested for 20 minutes. It is going to be beautiful. I've removed the string as well actually. Can you see that there, Emily? Stay there. It's not ready yet. Let's carve this up.
Oh man.
Smells good, doesn't it? Oh, listen to this. Oh, Italian crackling. Look at that. This is going to be a serious sandwich. Oh.
Is it, with the flavours inside, we've done garlic, rosemary and fennel? Was it?
Yes, yes.
Is there anything else that, if somebody, what else could you use?
Well, some people add a little bit of lemon in, actually, which I actually really like, but if you put too much in, it doesn't quite work.
Yeah.
There's a fine balance, I think, between it working or not. So listen to this. Nice crusty bread. This is robust. This is going to take all the juices. So if you just cut the bread, I love that sound.
Yeah.
And then just open it up. So I'm going to sit it on there. Can I sit it on there, Emily?
Yeah, you can.
Can you see that all right? Okay, so I'm going to take the salsa verde. I'm going to put the salsa verde on afterwards. So you can see the pork there, it's got all the fennels and the herbs and everything just running through it. So it's got bags and bags of flavour on that, which is really, really important. Yep, Emily's on the move, she's in striking distance.
Come for the sandwich.
Yeah, and then let's take our salsa verde and spread it on generously. Because if you've never had this before, once you've tried it, oh my goodness. I'm going to get that extra little bits of juices there. Alright. And then...
Oh, wow.
I know. So I actually sat the porchetta on a few onions. They are going to taste so good. So I'm just going to grab a few of those as well. There we go, for that little bit of sweetness in there. Nice. I'm getting in a mess.
It's going to be a messy sandwich though, I think.
It's going to be a good one. There you go, that is how you make the most amazing ciabatta buns with Italian roast pork and salsa verde. Get the recipe on masterclass.co. Go get it, buy your belly pork, make that this weekend. It is amazing. And don't forget, hashtag show us your buns to win this Masterclass Smart Ceramic equipment. And I will see you on Wednesday at 6 o'clock on Facebook and Instagram, YouTube, the whole lot. I'm going to be cooking more buns.